Hello and welcome to a short video where I'm going to show you how to calculate with the TI-30X IIS the mean, the standard deviation and also the variance of your data. First of all, it's very important that you check in which setting you are. So you see here stat, which means you are in the statistic modus. Therefore, it's very likely that you have still data memorized which you don't want to use. And to make sure you have no data memorized, you go to second and then to exit statistics. So I press statistic variable and then you are going to be asked exit statistics and then you go to yes. So I press enter. Now we are going back to our statistical program and you choose second data. And in our case, where we want to calculate the mean, the standard deviation of a one-dimensional data set, for example, this one, where we have the score of an exam, for example, and we have a frequency, which means in this example that we have 11 students who achieved 35 points at the exam, and then 10 students who achieved 42 points and so on. This is one dimensional because we just have the score of the students. So that's why we choose one variable. In the case you have two-dimensional data, of course you choose two variables, but this I'm going to show in another video. So we choose one variable, so enter. Now I want to enter the data, so I press data, and then x1 is my first value, so I press 35. Then I press this key, and I'm going to be asked for the frequency, which is of course 11. This represents our 11 students. And then I continue. I press down and then second value, 42 points. Again, pressing this button. And then the frequency is 10. We have 10 students with 42 points and so on. Third value, 51. Frequency 9. Fourth value 60, frequency 12. Fifth value 65, frequency 4. Sixth value 70, frequency 1. So we entered our data and then I go to stat variable and then you have your solutions which you can choose. So n, of course, is the number of observations. So we have 47 students. Then I press right and I get the mean. So the mean score is 49.23 and so on. And then you see here two standard deviation, capital S and the Greek S, which is called sigma. So the solution for this standard deviation is 11.03 and the solution of the other standard deviation is 10.91. So the difference is very small. There are two formulas of standard deviation, one where you divide by n and the other formula where you divide by n minus 1. When you use the division by n minus 1, you use a so-called unbiased estimator that you usually need for statistical testing. The other formula is the formula of the variance, which is biased, but it's the maximum likelihood estimator. And in some exams, they ask you both. So the calculators, not just this one, are providing usually both standard deviations. You just need to check which standard deviation represents the biased version and which standard deviation is not biased. So in the formula of the unbiased estimator, you see that we divide by n minus 1, which is a smaller number than n. So of course our unbiased estimator is the standard deviation with a greater number, which means that our 11.03 has to be our unbiased estimator and sigma x is our biased estimator. When we continue to press right, you get sum of x and also the sum of the squared values, which is useful for other coefficients. But for now, we work with our standard deviation. So I told you that we will also calculate the variance. And when you want to have the variance, you just need to square the standard deviation. For example, I press enter and I get sigma x. So when I want to have the variance, I just press x square, and then we have the variance, press enter. So we get 119.07 as biased variance, which is also called the population variance, and the other variance is called the sample variance. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, please subscribe the channel so you don't miss the next videos with this calculator. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.